followed by Greg Barnes. Go, Kiera.
Trying to get my video. Hey Armando, quick question. Can you just talk about your leadership this coming year? You're a sophomore now, and what has your leadership been looking like for this incoming freshman class?
Yeah, I mean, just coming into this year, we got so many new guys. I mean, and we obviously lost a good amount of seniors last year. I knew this year I had to step up and just teach some of the younger guys ways that things are done, and just making sure, just like let's say Walker and Dayron, they don't make the same mistakes I made my freshman year.
Greg, followed by Andrew Jones.
Hey, Armando, you mentioned Walker and Dayron. What has the competition been like in the post, and how is that different maybe than last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, I can honestly say after every practice this year, like everyone is just completely dead tired because I mean, we out there all competing. Dayron's very physical, Walker's very skilled, so just playing against two different type of bigs, it's been great for me.
Thank you.
Hey, we have time for a follow-up. So if you after Armando answers the question, if you want to follow up with something, go ahead. I'll give you a pause, and then before I move on to the next person, Andrew Jones, then Taylor.
Hey, Armando, what couple of things did you learn from your experiences spending some time and working out with Ed Davis this past summer?
Yeah. Just my approach, just some of the words he was giving me about. Obviously, he came back his sophomore year, and just how we had a different approach and just taking everything more serious and not taking anything for granted. That's one of the big things I took away from him.
What about from a purely basketball perspective, some of the stuff that you're doing in the lane and different moves or stuff like that?
I mean, obviously, Ed, he's been in the league for a long time, and one of the things he do on the screen is he play on 2 feet a lot, so he always like jump stopping and under control, and that's something I learned from him, just getting into a jump stop to get into the jump hook versus just trying to like run people over and possibly getting charges and things like that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Taylor Vippolis, followed by Aaron Beard.
Hey, Mondo. On a similar note, Tyler Hansbrough is a guy that comes back to practices. What's it like for you either matching up or playing against a player like Tyler Hansbrough, who's had so much success at North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I remember as a little kid watching Tyler Hansbrough and just seeing how good he is, and then just actually being on the floor with him is kind of crazy. I mean, y'all know how Psycho T is. He's just so physical, and it's just like he always trying to go through your chest every play. So it's like you just got to be prepared. Try to not get a tooth knocked out or something.
Appreciate it.
Aaron Beard, followed by David Teal.
Hey, Armando, you were just talking about working with the other bigs in practice. How do you envision that will work this year in terms of, so many big bodies and the size advantage you guys will have against most opponents?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. We've been switching up the lineup every day in practice, so all the bigs been able to, like, mix in with each other and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's been great. We all got different strengths and weaknesses, and we all play well together. So it's been great, and just us being able to all be rested and just come in and play hard for the time that we're in, I think it'll be great.
And just to follow up, we've heard several of the guys say Roy was pretty ticked about last year. You guys in general were. Kind of how was the mood for you after the season and trying to turn the page and move ahead after last year?
I mean, yeah, obviously we didn't like how the season ended. I mean, Coach, he's been turned up every day. So, and we've been bringing it every day too, not taking anything for granted. And Coach, he's been on us about any little mistake. And, I mean, that's just the way it is. We're trying to have a perfect season.
Armando, Coach Williams was telling us last week that he was really pleased with your rebounding last season, but where he thought you most needed to improve was finishing around the rim and also staying out of foul trouble. Is that your assessment as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been working on most this offseason, just like being more physical around the rim and just finishing through contact, but also just like extending my jump shot out, making a little mid-range too.
And then I saw where you were accepted and you tweeted about being accepted into the business school. What was that process like and what does it mean to you?
I mean, it was something that was stressful, obviously, because like it's such a hard school to get into, and just the days leading up to it, I was nervous. I mean, business, that's something that I have a lot of passion in. It's the other thing that I love, and it's something that I'm always looking at. I'm always looking at the stock market, learning about real estate and things like that. So it was something huge, and it was definitely a big part of my decision in coming here. So I'm just glad I got a chance to be accepted in the Kingdom Flag.
Congrats.
Thank you.
CL Brown, followed by Tom Shanahan.
Can't get this off mute. Sorry. Armando, a lot of coaches will talk about the biggest jump a player makes is between freshman and sophomore year. What ways do you feel like you have improved the most that what areas of your game do you feel like are just far better than where you were this time last year?
I would just say just being more smart about the things I do, like not getting easy touch fouls, but also just, like I said, just finishing around the rim. I feel like I'm a lot better at that. I'm way more physical, and I just know how to do like the little things like seal here and there or just slip out on the screen and just ways the heads, just making the game easier and easier points and stops and stuff like that.
How much of that was through repetition? Like how much did you really get to work out in the off season, given the pandemic and everything we were under? And how much of that was based on you being able to play through the season and just learning through that experience?
Yeah, I mean, it was a mix of both, just being able to play through the season, but also just this whole quarantine and stuff like that. I had a chance to work out just about every day and also just watch film on all of the mistakes I made. And I got a chance to see what I did in the good games versus what I did in my bad games last year. And I got a chance to take away the good and the bad from both.
Tom Shanahan, followed by Vashti.
Hey, Armando, can you talk about last year? Maybe there were times when you guys felt you were going to finally turn the corner, and I'm thinking of the Duke game where you had the good lead down the stretch. And what maybe you can find this year that you guys never found last year to make that turn?
Well, yeah, like I said, just coach not letting us take advantage of anything, just like the little things. Like even still to this day, we replayed at like last 3 seconds. Like let's say I think it was versus Clemson. Like the last 3 seconds we lost, we do that situation a lot, and just the little things like boxing out, just not taking advantage of any of those things because they make a huge difference when you lose by 2 or 3 points.
Yeah, and overall it was a disappointing season, but did you guys feel like you might turn the corner at points?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely points like when we went on that little win streak before we played Boston College. We thought that was going to be a huge turning point. Then we got Cole back, and then we just never was able to get in the rhythm.
Thank you.
Vashti, followed by Ross Martin.
Thank you. Hi, Armando. Thank you for your time. You spoke earlier about talking to the freshmen about some of the mistakes that you made in efforts to have them avoid them. What were some of those mistakes that you are warning them about?
Just being inconsistent, just taking days for granted. That was something that I did a lot last year. And just if I see them, just like slouching around or something like that, I try to tell them, like, just pick it up. Like, just don't take any day for granted. You should always just want to go in the gym and just give your best because you never know when it can be taken away.
From a mental standpoint, last year was tough. How do you recover from that mentally, and how does that make you stronger heading into this season?
I mean, just being positive every day. I mean, I can honestly say, like, probably except for one practice, every practice this day has been better than any practice we've had last year. It's been so competitive. I mean, you even date back when we was playing open gym. Clint was there. We was just every day, just before we even had open gym, just talking trash in the group chat, just excited to go out there, play 5-on-5. We was doing series, 7-game series like the NBA, and just our approach has been a lot more competitive this year, and that's the great thing.
Ross, followed by Eddie Hughes.
Hey, Armando. What have you seen from Caleb Love so far? And then also, what have you seen from RJ Davis, the 2 rookie guards?
Yeah, I mean, Caleb, he's a good balance. He can score the ball good, but he's also a good facilitator, which is good for us. He's a big lead guard, and, I mean, he showed flashes of greatness. And RJ, too, he's been good. He's a really good shooter. And they both push the ball great, too, and they always looking for that long pass that's famous in the UNC secondary.
And then kind of a follow-up on Hansborough. I mean, what's that like in there with you have a lot of big guys. I mean, how physical and what is going to maybe help y'all improve or teach y'all in certain things?
Yeah, I mean, Hansborough, yeah, he's just super physical. I mean, we learned stuff like just sealing, like the way he seals us like in the middle of the lane and just drops his shoulder and just goes through our chest. I mean, it's something that we try out on each other. Obviously, it's kind of hard to do it on him because he's so solid. But also just him fronting us and not letting us catch the ball is something that we could take away from him too.
What's he like as a person, personality-wise?
Yeah. He a good dude. obviously people think of him like some crazy person, but he actually a pretty normal dude.
All right, thanks, man.
Eddie Hughes.
Armando, you mentioned Psycho T, Tyler Hansborough. Has he been the one to kind of help you finish through that physicality and finish at the rim?
Yeah, him and also Tyler Zeller too. They both have been working out with us, and Tyler Zeller, he's so skilled, and he's really good at scoring the ball. So we just all been taking stuff away from both of them.
For you, you mentioned, of course, the hunger for the guys that are returning. How do you translate that to the freshmen that are coming in, that they stay focused throughout the year?
I mean, practice has just been so intense. I feel like they've been like picking up on it itself. I mean, coach has been on edge, and we all been on edge, and we just been, like I said, just trying to have like a perfect season and just try to be perfect with everything. So I feel like they're just kind of picking up on the vibe early.
All right, that's everybody who had their hand raised. Anybody have a follow-up they want to ask Armando before we let him go? David Teal. David, by the way, Armando is from your hometown, Richmond Times-Dispatch. So, David, go ahead.
Armando, and speaking of Richmond, how well do you know Henry Coleman?
Yeah, Henry, that was my guy. I mean, as you know, we went to the same high school. We played on the same AAU team. So, yeah, I mean, we've been knowing each other since we've been in middle school. So I've been knowing him forever.
What will it be like competing against him this year in Duke Carolina games?
I mean, that'll be fun. I mean, just thinking about like how we all started off just in the middle school gym, like being nobody to now playing in the biggest rivalry in all the sports, it'll be huge. And I mean, obviously we'll be talking trash to each other and stuff like that.
Thank
Kiera,
you.
I'm sorry, David. Kiera, then CL.
Get my video there. Armando, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of Carolina family, as you talked about Tyler Hansborough and Zeller coming back. How have you guys just kind of brought the younger guys in and kind of developed that trust and that brotherhood that Carolina relies on and off the court?
Yeah, I mean, this year we've been doing, obviously, since it's the pandemic, we haven't been able to go out and stuff like that. We've just been quarantined as a team. We've been doing a lot more team stuff this year, just all hanging out, just if it's us all playing a game or going to order some food and bringing it back to us. We've been doing a lot more stuff like that with our team and just getting to know each other and kind of building a type of team chemistry.
CL?
Hey, Armando, I wanted to ask, I think you responded on Twitter. There's a little bit of a narrative once you get closer to the NBA draft, you know, sometimes negative stuff comes up. And with Cole Anthony, there's kind of a narrative that he was a bad teammate. And I wanted to get your take on how he was, you know, just your perspective of how he was as a teammate last season.
Yeah, I mean, Cole, he was a great teammate. He was always just coming in, just being positive. Obviously, with our season being such a letdown, a lot of guys just had their head down. But he's one of those guys that come in and try to pick everybody up. And just the narrative of him being a bad teammate is just not true at all.
Armando, thank you very much. Everybody, appreciate you jumping on with Armando. We'll let you know which player or players will be available either next Wednesday or Thursday, depending on their schedule.